COPWATCH, policing the police every single day.
Anthony, get back!
Watch, cop holds small man down as his partner smashes in his face. A graphic video has sparked outrage after it showed Austin police hold a man down and senselessly beat him. By Matt Agarist, July 5, 2018. Austin, Texas. A video from July 4 in downtown Austin has sparked outrage and an internal investigation after it showed two Austin police officers holding a man down and punching him in the head during a violent arrest. The video was taken by Patrick King, who described the incident as disturbing and noted that this was his first time seeing police brutality. King said that he was out with some friends when all of a sudden these two officers took down a man half their size. "I've never seen something like this in front of me before," King said. As the video begins, the officers had already been struggling with the man. They are screaming at him to put his hands behind his back and to roll over. However, it appears he is unable to do so because they are holding him down and punching him. He has him on his back.
Anthony, get back!
He has him on his side. And he keeps asking him to turn over, but he's still on top of him, punching him and telling him to turn over, which makes no sense to me, King said. How in the actually FK can you tell someone to put their hands behind their back and stop resisting arrest when you're literally sitting on his body and holding him, not giving him the chance to move? King wrote on Twitter. A young woman near the officers is begging them to stop hitting the man. She becomes so distraught that she actually jumps in to stop it and touches one of the cops. "You need to back the FK up or you're going to go to jail," screams the cop as he continues to beat the man on the ground. Once the officer got off of the man, they were able to roll him over and place him in handcuffs. The woman then asks, "Why are you doing that?" to which the officer responds by getting up and telling her to put her hands behind her back. King noted that watching police brutality in real life is far different than watching it on television or the internet. He says he posted the video to Facebook and Twitter to raise awareness. It wasn't to call out a cop. It wasn't to call out the guy, what he was doing wrong. It was just for everyone to be aware that this can happen anywhere, he said. Once the video began to go viral, Austin Police Chief Brian Manley actually tweeted it out himself and explained that they are looking into the incident. "Thank you for bringing this video to our attention and allowing us time to look into the incident. As is standard protocol, the officer's chain of command is reviewing all details surrounding this incident," Manley said. Chief Brian Manley. @Chief_Manley. "Thank you for bringing this video to our attention and allowing us time to look into the incident. As is standard protocol, the officer's chain of command is reviewing all details surrounding this incident." Patty. @Yingyang PK. "Last night I was out with some friends in Austin and witnessed police brutality firsthand for the first time. It's a different feeling when you see it on TV or all over the internet than when you actually witness it happening no less than 10 feet in front of you." @Austin_police. 2:13 p.m., July 4, 2018. 234 people are talking about this. Twitter adds info and privacy. The video above appears to be the result of what happens when police are trained to be warriors instead of guardians and see the public as an enemy they are at war with. As TFTP reported last month, whistleblowers from within the Austin Police Department's training program quit because they said cops are being taught to view the public as cockroaches they need to defeat. KVUE writes. Summer Spisak, a 38-year-old former tech employee who participated in 9 weeks of the 8-month academy last year, said instructors told her and other cadets they would punch them in the face if they said they wanted to be police officers to help people. Spisak and others are now sounding the alarm for the public, saying police are being trained to view community members as the enemy and not as their fellow citizens. "It's so different from what is portrayed, it's so different from my expectation of the Austin Police Department," Spisak concluded. KVUE continued by describing another former recruit's observations of the police training currently being implemented at the Austin PD. Jonathan Murray, who now works in sales for Dell, said instructors repeatedly degraded the homeless and prostitutes, referring to them as cockroaches and suggesting they find a transient if they were bored and wanted a felony arrest. Viewing sex workers as insects and the homeless as potential targets for prosecution differs vastly from the generalized public perception of officers as those who are sworn to protect and serve members of the community. According to the former recruits, officers of the peace should have a guardian mentality as opposed to the warrior mindset the recruits and graduates are being taught to possess. However, as the video above illustrates, that is not the case.
Catchphrase. It's
at risk responding to calls to keep us safe. What happens on Austin streets is often the result of what officers learn in the academy.
In recent years, APD also has had several use of force encounters that led to high-profile punishments and even indictments against officers. In this Defenders exclusive, Tony Plahetsky investigates claims that the training academy culture is to blame.
Mike and Quita, guardian versus warrior is a police training catchphrase. It's whether an academy emphasizes a softer side of policing, like talking issues out, or teaches officers to be more aggressive. A group of former cadets say they were stunned by how much they believe the department instills a warrior mentality, and that's why they feel that is out of sync with Austin. This is a glimpse into how a cadet becomes an Austin police officer, suiting up and fighting. Instructors say this training is critical to simulating what officers will experience.
You will be challenged.
They say it's just as important as what's taught here in the classroom.
We want all of you to succeed.
Learning about the law and how to de-escalate a confrontation.
And that's the amount of respect you show him.
The Austin Police Department is like every other major Texas city. It recruits from all walks of life, like the military and business, and brings cadets here for 9 months of high-intensity training. When they graduate, they're on the street. But the KVUE Defenders have interviewed nearly a dozen former APD cadets who either dropped out or were kicked out. They say they came to us to raise awareness about what they consider a critical community issue.
We're gonna find out.
They believe the academy, which was the subject of this video series by the city in 2013, goes too far.
If you are an officer and you're put in the hospital, then the unofficial rule, and he said he would deny this if we ever went public with it or asked somebody about it, but the unofficial rule is that that person that did it to you had better be put in the hospital too.
Summer Spizak worked in tech and was in grad school before becoming an APD cadet a year ago. She quit the academy based in part on what she heard. Spizak and 3 other former cadets signed a letter to Interim Police Chief Brian Manley last fall. It says they were repeatedly provided with instructions that encouraged violence and were demeaned and berated.
Nasty comments about, if, for instance, if you're on patrol and it's slow, it's a quiet night, they said if you're ever looking for an arrest, stop a transient. They will usually always have a felony on them. They resorted as transients as cockroaches.
John Murray spent 6 months in the academy but quit after he says he was injured in a boxing exercise.
It was definitely shocking that that kind of comment can be made, especially to cadets who are going to be potential future officers.
I had to go to bat for myself.
Michael Gibbons served in the Navy for 4 years. He too left the APD Training Academy last year. Now he's a high school teacher in Hays County.
That's a yes, sir!
He says instructors yelled and cursed at cadets, creating a culture he fears spills onto the street.
They went counter to the mission statement and vision statement that APD and the city as well that they projected and put forth.
That mission statement, to keep you, your family, and our community safe. That vision statement, to be respected and trusted by all segments of Austin's diverse community.
I'm very satisfied with how we're training the men and women here at the Austin Police Department. If I wasn't, then I would make changes.
Interim Police Chief Brian Manley says he thinks the former cadets are inaccurate in their claims, that some of the comments they say were made simply were not. He says the academy is a mix of guardian and warrior, emphasizing the role of the community protector an enforcer of the law.
We're giving them the requisite knowledge to go out and to succeed in a very difficult profession.
Spizek says a year later, she remains disappointed in the academy and the department.
I expect Austin Police Department to be respectful and responsible.
Manley says that's exactly what the academy teaches.
And it requires such a vast amount of not only skills and knowledge, but really ability. And so if we don't get that to our officers in the training academy, then we have not set them up to succeed.
Chief Manley points out that not everyone is cut out for police training or the profession itself, but 80 to 90% of all cadets who enter the academy do graduate. We checked, and no one in the country has studied how a training culture plays out on the street. If warrior-based training causes more clashes between police and citizens, or similarly, whether an emphasis on guardian training leads to more police officer injuries.
Police use who may want to retaliate against him physically.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.